Good morning, dear students. Today we are going to study the topic which is system of particles, motion of system of particles. Okay. Before discussing this topic, we know that how to apply Newton's laws of motion for a single particle. Okay. We know the statement for applying Newton's laws of motion to single particle. Okay. Now, if we have very large number of particles, which means more than one, okay. Suppose there are capital N number of particles. Capital N may be 2, 3, 4, 5,000, 10,000, 1 lakh, 10 lakh, or maybe even in crores. Okay. Suppose we have such a system which is having very large number of particles. We have shown first particle as which is replaced by its center of mass m1, second particle whose mass is m2, third particle is mass m3, then we have ith particle, okay, whose mass is mi. In this way we have last particle whose mass is mn, and remember these particles are that I have shown over here are the center of masses. Okay. Now, what are those particles? Those particles may be planets. Okay. We know that if you look in the sky, you can see very large number of planets, stars. Okay. Suppose those planets and stars are I represent here by single dot, which is center of mass of each single star. Then this consists of a galaxy, okay, or maybe you can say all the universe. Okay, all these masses are discrete masses. What is mean by discrete masses? Distance between this is finite. Okay, and we can separate out these masses from one another. Okay, for continuous system, if we have continuous mass distribution, then we cannot separate m1 and m3. Okay, they are very close to each other. Now, such of particles are known as system of particles. Okay, and if we apply external force on this system of particles, we are going to study how can we apply Newton's laws of motion to such system of particles. Okay, for that we know that total mass of this system, capital M, can be written as m1, m2, m3 plus plus mn. Okay, so capital M is the total mass of the given system. Now next we are going to define center of mass for the whole system. Okay, we know that center of mass for a single particle. How to find out? Center of mass means what? All the mass of that body is supposed to be concentrated at that single point. Now, for the system which comprises of various discrete masses, definition of center of mass is that center of mass is the point in the system where whole mass of that system is supposed to be concentrated. Okay, and in another words, center of mass is the weighted average of those masses. Okay, so to find out center of mass, we must choose arbitrary origin. Suppose I choose my arbitrary origin over here. Okay, you can choose that arbitrary origin anywhere in space. Suppose you can take over here, 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 anywhere is fine. Now draw position vectors of all the masses from that arbitrary origin. So I call this vector position vector as r1, which represents mass m1 in space with respect to o1. Suppose this is position vector r2, this is position vector ri. Okay, because this position vector represents position of this mi particle with respect to arbitrary origin. Then this is vector r3. Okay, and you can show vector rn like this. Now, to get weighted average or position of center of mass with respect to arbitrary origin, what we have to do, you have to take vector r, which is center of mass for that system, is nothing but m1 r1 plus m2 r2 plus mi ri and plus mn rn divided by m1 m2 up to mn. Okay, so m1 is mass of first particle, r1 vector r1 is position vector of first particle with respect to some arbitrary origin. Okay, so you can write this equation as summation over I running from 1 to n. Okay, see, I can write this as mi, so we can vary the index of I from 1 to n, multiply by vector ri. Okay, so if we take r is equal to 1, so this becomes m1 r1 plus second term is you have to take I is equal to 2, so this becomes I2 or m2 r2 in this way, divided by summation over m I. Okay, you know from equation 1 capital M is addition of all the masses, so here we can say capital M. So in this way, mathematically we can define center of mass for that system. Okay, now after defining center of mass, we have to apply Newton's second law of motion for that whole system. Okay, before that, we know that for applying Newton's second law, we must consider external force acting on that system. How do we find out that external force? Suppose you apply, okay, we can say this consists of a system in which masses are distributed and you apply external force to hold, okay, hold the masses. After applying that external force, this external force change motion of first particle, second particle, third particle and all the particles. Okay, so in another words we can say if we apply external force, okay, so external force is given as when we apply this to that system, then this is acting force, external force acting on first particle plus external force acting on second particle. Okay, in this way we continue this and external force acting on nth particle. So this is the vector addition of all the forces which are acting on individual particles. Okay, F external is the total external force acting on that whole system, and these are the individual forces, okay, which are acting on a single particles. Now if you take ith particle from this system, okay, if you take ith particle, okay, then applying Newton's second law of motion only for ith particle. Okay, now for ith particle, ith particle means what? You can take particle m1, m2, m3 or any particle up to mn. For that we have chosen index I. Okay, so I is a variable, so you can take I from 1 to capital N. Now if you take ith particle and if we apply Newton's second law of motion, we know that for ith particle, what is the Newton's second law of motion? Force, external force is equal to rate of change of momentum. Okay. Now we are writing Newton's second law for only ith particle. Then we can say external force on ith particle is rate of change of momentum of ith particle. Okay, which means F1 is equal to dP1 by dt. Now, when you apply, okay, this Newton's second law for ith particle, then what will happen? Here, Fi external means what? Force acting on ith particle. Now we know that when we apply external force, then due to this external force, that ith particle is changing its position. Okay, that particle does not stay over here. Its position is changed. Suppose this is the position changed by ith particle. Due to this, when you say external force acting on ith particle, there are two type of forces arises. First force is the force due to this applied external force, and second force is the force due to all the masses which are acting on that ith particle. Okay, those forces are internal forces. Why we are calling those forces are internal forces? Because those forces are acting on ith particle because of all the masses. Okay, now next we stop our lecture over here, and tomorrow we will start, okay, in next lecture from here. Thank you.